the way. ACA is the way. ACA is the way. ACA. Shut it down!
This is the most hateful president our country has ever seen. His work is targeting immigrants and young people and poor people and the elderly. And we're here to build a country that really stands for every single person who lives within its borders.
Okay, wow, that was a very intense situation. It looks like the protesters are throwing Molotov cocktails at the police. We already had a number of protesters knock the camera out of my hand. The situation here on May Day is getting out of hand. Fireworks, stun grenades. I had a stun grenade go off right by my face before, but we just saw a number of police officers lit on fire. Fireworks were being thrown everywhere. The situation is getting completely out of hand. Again, this is Luke Radowski reporting for WeAreChange.org, independent media here on the ground reporting.
Strong accusations from North Korea. That country is now accusing the U.S. and South Korea of an assassination attempt on its supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. In a statement carried out on state media, North Korea's Ministry of State Security says it will, quote, mercilessly destroy the terrorists, referring to the CIA and the South Korean intelligence agency. In response to the alleged plot, the ministry said it will conduct a Korean-style anti-terrorist attack targeted at U.S. intelligence agencies. Reporting from Seoul, South Korea.
Approved new sanctions against North Korea. The measure comes as the U.S. is watching that nation and Iran for their development of missile technology. National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin reports tonight from the Pentagon. It appears those two nations are working together.
Non-proliferation experts have long suspected North Korea and Iran are sharing expertise when it comes to their rogue missile programs.
The very first missiles we saw in Iran were simply copies of North Korean missiles. And over the years, we've seen photographs of North Korean and Iranian officials in each other's countries, and we've seen all kinds of common hardware and design approaches.
When Iran tested a ballistic missile in late January, the Pentagon said it was based on North Korean design. Last summer, Iran conducted another missile launch similar to a North Korean Musadon, the most advanced missile Pyongyang has tested to date. North Korea's Taepodong missile looks almost identical to Iran's Shahab missile.
And that breaking news, let me tell you about that. Russia, Turkey and Iran have signed today, a couple of hours ago, a memorandum establishing 4 zones of de-escalation, as they're being termed, in Syria. This was made possible at a new round of peace talks held in the Kazakh capital, Astana, between the Syrian government and the armed opposition. The proposal was supported by Syrian authorities, and it's aimed at strengthening the ceasefire in that long war-torn country.
Kadmani, thanks for joining me on Upfront. The Syrian conflict has been raging for more than 6 years. Syrians have been killed in their hundreds of thousands, and yet President Assad is still in power and on the offensive. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, is he? Or do you actually believe he can be toppled or removed from office still?
We never use the word toppled. We never say he should go through military means. That is not what the Syrian people want or the opposition wants. And I'm speaking here of the moderate opposition, the one that has put out a political solution, a vision for a political solution, who goes to Geneva to engage in peace talks and is willing to organize a transition and a controlled and negotiated departure for Assad. Assad is a war criminal. Everybody knows it. Even if he's not going to the International Court of Justice for the moment, he still is the criminal court, I'm sorry. Even then, he is still allowed by the Syrian people to benefit from a negotiated departure. And that is not calling for violence. So we're not talking about Assad ousted violently.
In April, when the US president launched airstrikes against a Syrian military airfield, the first US attack against the Syrian government, you wrote in favor of it, saying that President Trump's actions were a major first step to end the chaos and lay the foundation for a peace process. You said there's new pressure on Assad and his backers. It's been more than 4 weeks since those airstrikes. It doesn't look like much has changed on the ground in Syria. He's even using that same airfield to launch fighter jets. So Trump's attack changed nothing.
Look, the opposition still hopes that there will be a peaceful, negotiated, controlled transition in Syria. Otherwise, we will have a chaotic Syria and a chaotic region for the next decade or two. The strike that Donald Trump decided to conduct was a punitive strike for the use of weapons banned 100 years ago and banned by a convention, by an agreement signed by Russia and the US.
But you said it lays the foundation for a peace process. It hasn't done that at all.
That didn't happen. Well, we've tried diplomacy without any punitive action under the previous administration. That never made anything possible. We do hope that for once the Syrian people finally see that the regime can get some form of punitive action for using chemical weapons, for illegal behavior, and for crimes against humanity.
I'm eating what you eat.
Sharing a meal of Mexican food.
Chicas de camarón.
Alex Camarillo and Stanley Long sound like old friends.
Well, it's like a Mexican thing. It's freaking awesome.
But these lunch dates had an unusual beginning.
Yeah, sure.
It started outside this Pizza Hut a couple weeks back. Stan came up to Alex, asking him for money. Instead of just handing him $1, Alex invited him inside to sit down together for a meal.
The pair hit it off, snapping this photo, and after lunch, Alex ran to the store for some gifts.
From head to toe clothes. How you doing today, man?
Stan spends his days asking for help. He says he stopped working to take care of his sick mother, and after she passed last year, he wound up on the streets.
Any way possible you could help a homeless guy with anything today, ma'am?
He never expected the extra kindness from this young stranger.
Sit down and eat. No, this is the first. I grew up broke. I grew up in poverty.
Now Alex says giving back just makes sense.
If you're able to do it, why not help somebody out?
So he posted their story on Facebook, encouraging others to do the same, and it is spreading fast.
You don't know how it's going to change their lives.
Like it's changing Stan's. He admits he's made mistakes to land him here.
Not no saint or anything like that.
But he says this moment means everything.
This hope.
Motivation to get back on his feet.
Just to be grateful and to do better.
And pass it on to the next in need.